If you noticed your car's temperature gauge going up and down while driving, this can be worrying, but the good news is, it's usually an easy fix. Let's talk about what's causing this and what you should do about it. Before we dive in, understand that your temperature gauge is one of the most critical warning systems in your car. Ignoring it can lead to a blown head gasket or even complete engine failure, costing thousands of dollars to repair. So, let's catch this early. The number one reason for a fluctuating temperature gauge is low coolant. When your coolant level drops, air pockets form inside the cooling system. As these air bubbles move around, they pass by the temperature sensor, and since air heats up differently than liquid, your gauge starts bouncing all over the place. Here's how to check it. Make sure your engine is completely cold. Pop the hood and locate your coolant reservoir. It's usually a translucent plastic tank with minimum and maximum lines. The level should be between these lines. If it's low, top it off with a 50-50 mix of coolant and distilled water. But if you're constantly adding coolant, you have a leak somewhere that needs to be found. Now, if your coolant level is fine, the next suspect is your thermostat. Think of the thermostat as a valve that controls coolant flow to keep your engine at the perfect temperature. When it starts to fail, it can get stuck partially open, partially closed, or flutter between positions. This creates inconsistent coolant flow, which shows up as gauge fluctuations. Here's a telltale sign. If your gauge drops when you're driving on the highway but rises in traffic, that's classic thermostat behavior. A faulty thermostat usually needs replacement and typically costs between $75 and $200, including labor. Another common cause is a failing temperature sensor. This component reads the engine temperature and sends that information to your gauge. If it's going bad, it'll send erratic signals even when your engine temperature is perfectly stable. You might notice the gauge jumping randomly, sometimes even when you first start the car. Your water pump could also be the culprit. The water pump circulates coolant throughout your engine, and if it's wearing out, the impeller blades inside might be corroded or damaged. This leads to inconsistent circulation, creating hot and cold spots that your gauge picks up on. Water pump failure often comes with other symptoms like a whining noise from the front of the engine or coolant leaks. Don't overlook your radiator cap either. That cap maintains pressure in your cooling system. A bad cap drops the pressure, which lowers the boiling point of your coolant, causing it to boil prematurely and create gauge fluctuations. The best part? A new radiator cap costs less than $20. Air trapped in the system can also cause this, especially after coolant changes or repairs. Air pockets move through the system, causing erratic readings. This requires burping the cooling system, which any mechanic can handle quickly. Here's what you need to do. First, check your coolant level. Second, pay attention to patterns. Does the fluctuation happen at idle, on the highway, in cold or hot weather? Does the heater blow cold air when the gauge drops? This information helps a mechanic diagnose the problem faster. Third, look under your car after it's been parked. See any puddles? Coolant is usually bright green, orange, or pink with a sweet smell. If you see this, you have a leak. Most importantly, if your gauge ever hits the red zone, pull over immediately. Turn off the engine and let it cool down. Driving with an overheating engine can warp your cylinder head or blow your head gasket. We're talking repair bills exceeding $3,000 to $5,000. Here's a pro tip. Even if the gauge is fluctuating but staying in the normal range, don't wait too long. Most temperature gauge issues are inexpensive to fix when caught early. That $50 sensor becomes a $3,000 engine repair if you ignore the warning signs. So there you have it. Check your coolant, pay attention to patterns, and get it diagnosed sooner rather than later. Your engine will thank you, and your wallet will too.